Well, last night we entered the first government shutdown in 4 years. Technically, five if you're going on calendar year, but seeing as how 2013 still isn't officially 5 years ago, I'm going to just say 4 years. Um, and there might be a couple of people who are somewhat confused or otherwise not knowing entirely what happens during these. I think most of us get the basic concept that many federal workers will be placed on furlough and will not report to work on Monday, and that this will resume until a budget is agreed on by those in Congress. Federal budget, a bill for it, rather. And that's how the last one was solved with the Appropriations Act of 2014. Now, there are some that also aren't entirely familiar with the history of these. So, in prior shutdowns, um, there wasn't much to go by in the sense that things were not seen as being that major. Effectively, what made these such a headache and otherwise thing of reckoning was, or rather, the two were the two that occurred during the Clinton presidency, when the Republican controlled Congress and President Clinton disagreed on his various proposals, and that was a matter which caused this. There was a total of, in those two separate periods, 27 days that people were just out of work. And ever since then, it's become more of a scary. And that's part of the reason why there was such a big gap between the last one in '96 and the second to last one we had in 2013. And I'm just giving you that premise there. Now, what I find really interesting are some of the responses by Republicans to this, which is to blame the Democrats for not voting certain ways and to even just place any blame on them at all, is more so amusing to me. And I say that because when the last government shutdown occurred in 2013, the Democrats lost the Senate the following year during the 2014 midterms. And part of the reason for that was because people were able to say, well, your party was in control of this chamber. You guys weren't able to stop people from having to go home and sit at home for, what, a half of a month or more so than that. It was 18 days, I believe. So it worked against them. But in the case where the Republicans are in control, they're trying to make the minority have it work against them. And it's been stated that this is the first time in American history to have the president and Congress be from the same party, and to have workers not get paid as a response to the government shutting down. Now, if that's the case, I really don't see how they can frame this as a problem for the Democrats. Because if this were a shutdown that occurred while that party was in control, they would say, oh, see, look, it didn't work out because they're in control and they don't know how to handle things. Well, the same argument could be made toward the Republicans now for their demonstrating of not being able to come to some consensus. So, all in all, it's horrible that people are going to be sitting at home because men and women in suits and ties that work 3 days a week or half a week or whatever their schedule is can't simply agree on something that they know does not impact them one way or the other. And that's why they don't agree. They feel uncharismatic because they have no reason to care.